today we're going to be talking about the cornerback room. It's a room with a lot of questions, but I am not alone to answer those questions. With me, joining me today is Mr. James Hill, a.k.a. Mr. Bucs Nation, doing his best Stardust impression. James, what is going on today, my friend?
Nothing much, where it's another day, another group that we get to talk about. Today it's cornerbacks. And Evan, this is a group that a lot of people are iffy on. I've seen a lot of people not be happy with the secondary. But I feel like there's some guys here who could really step up, really make some noise, and have some potential there. So I'm going to be interested to talk about it today.
Yeah, so obviously one of the big names that you will not hear is Carlton Davis, right? That was one of the biggest moves that the Buccaneers made this past offseason, trading Carlton Davis for a third-round pick. Carlton Davis is now a member of the Detroit Lions. So Carlton Davis no longer on the team, was a good player for him. He was. It's availability was one thing about him, but when he was on the field, he's a pretty good player. And I know a lot of people didn't love him in Tampa, but I do think he's going to be tough to replace. So with that being said, though, Jamel Dean is still in the building. Of course, Jamel Dean now really takes on the role, right, of being cornerback one if he wasn't already. But also behind him is Tyrek Funderburk, which is a fantastic
Tyrek Funderburk.
Yeah, I mean, just great. Appalachian State undrafted free agent. Andrew Hayes, Central Arkansas undrafted free agent. And Chris McDonald, Toledo undrafted free agent. Also have some veterans that the Buccaneers added this past offseason in the cornerback room. Bryce Hall, cornerback from the New York Jets, they added him. And they also added Tavier Thomas from the Houston Texans. So both, like I said, veteran guys. Still have Keenan Isaac on the team. I know Isaac turned a couple of heads last training camp. Zion McCollum. We're going to be talking about Zion McCollum a good bit in this video. And then guys like Josh Hayes, who admittedly Josh Hayes will be a corner / safety. Christian Izien is the guy who maybe will line up in that nickel spot. Tyke Smith is a guy who will maybe line up in that nickel spot for the Buccaneers. We'll be talking about all of them guys, but when you look at this room, there is, like you said, I think a lot of concern out of Bucs fans. Bucs fans have thought the secondary has been bad for a long time. Like, it feels like they always want them to get that shut-down corner. Doesn't really exist in the NFL nowadays, but I will admit, the Buccaneers, they're taking a pretty big gamble here with the cornerback room. What do you think, James?
I mean, they're taking a lot of gambles on a lot of positions on the defense. I guess just on a lot of positions in general.
Jason Light, Mr. Vegas, baby.
Let him cook. Look, I feel okay about this group. I feel like I didn't say good. But I like Jamel Dean. The biggest question about him is if he can stay healthy. Me and you have been Jamel Dean supporters for a while now. But it's a big matter of if he can stay healthy, man. If he can, that's great for this unit. If he can't, the unit declines a good bit. I have talked a lot about Zion McCollum, and I know some people are a bit iffy on him. Like, did he get picked on in the Lions game? Yes, he did. Did he get picked on at times throughout last season as well? Yes, he did. But if you look at the advanced statistics, he was one of the better corners in coverage last year. In fact, probably he was the best outside corner in coverage last year, just in terms of completion percentage allowed, passer rating allowed, all those different types of things. He was better than Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis last year. So, there's a reason the Bucs felt comfortable.
An analytical darling.
Yeah, and there's a reason that. Yeah, that's kind of weird. You're kind of quiet there, like Zion McCollum. But
I was letting you talk.
It's that's fair. But listen, the big thing there is there's a reason the Bucs traded away Carlton Davis, right? They wouldn't have done it if they didn't feel comfortable having Zion McCollum be the starter. So you have to feel really, we know the coaching staff feels really good about McCollum. Mm-hmm. We know that the front office feels really good about McCollum. And look, he's got all the tools to be a very successful starting cornerback in this league. He's very similar tools to a Jamel Dean, except, just a freak athlete.
I think, he's more athletic than Dean.
He's more athletic than Jamel Dean. So if he can put it all together, you are just continuing to have a great cornerback tandem there. But again, big if. Right now, what's very interesting to me, is how much they invested at nickel cornerback this year, because I thought Christian Izien did a pretty good job last year, but then you draft Tyke Smith in round number 3. He's a very legitimate option to start at nickel corner.
I think he's the likely option, to be honest with you.
It's possible. In my opinion, I think it might be Tavierre Thomas. Because if they want to go with a more veteran option.
Maybe at first.
Maybe at first. But I could eventually see Tyke Smith working his way into being a starter.
They draft him with a top 100 pick. I mean, they clearly like the guy.
It's true. But like you have 3 legitimate guys who could start there in Tyke Smith, in Christian Izien, and in Tavierre Thomas. Like that's some pretty good depth there for nickel cornerback. At outside cornerback, you've got Bryce Hall, who is an interesting option. I'm trying to remember. It's not the running back from the Jets, right? That's Breece Hall.
That's
right?
Breece Hall.
Yeah, okay. Bryce Hall. I got the name right. So Bryce Hall, like, is he going to start over Zion McCollum? No, probably, no. I'm not going to say probably not. No. But like, if Zion McCollum...
This team loves Zion McCollum.
Yes, they love Zion McCollum. But if Bryce Hall needs to go out there and play some snaps for you at outside cornerback, like you feel okay with him out there. Is he going to be like amazing? But maybe not. But like, I don't think he'd be terrible out there.
No, and like, are you really expecting him to be? Like, are you really expecting Bryce Hall to come in and just be amazing? Like, if he's good, great. Like, that's a great signing. But like,
right, like, but you're not expecting it because again, the expectation is Jamel Dean and Zion McCollum being your guys. You're not expecting Bryce Hall to go out there and be this crazy good starter.
I do think though you do have to talk about Bryce Hall a little bit more just because we know Jamel Dean's injury history, right? It's not likely.
I didn't want to say it, but
it's not likely that he's going to start all 17 games.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it to put it out there because
it is what it is.
I tend to do that a lot, but like Jamel Dean's never I don't think Jamel Dean's ever played every single game in a season in his career.
No, I don't think so.
So like you're probably going to see some Bryce Hall out there. You might see, which maybe my little bold prediction. I think this guy's going to make the roster. Like Tyreek Thunderberg. You might see him out there.
Yeah, maybe. Jamel Dean in his career, 13 games in 2019, 14 in 2020, 15 in 2021, 15 in 2022, and 13 last year. So, no, he has not played a full season in the NFL.
Man, so, I mean, like, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, look, you might see some Bryce Hall out there. You might see some Tyreek Thunderberg. Could they use a smidge more depth at outside cornerback? Maybe. Like, maybe you didn't bring in a Tavierre Thomas, and if you were planning on drafting, Tyke Smith, maybe. I mean, I guess they couldn't have 100% planned for that, but like, you could use another outside corner, right? Like, maybe it's some veteran on the practice squad somewhere down the line, but this group's got some good potential, in my opinion.
The one thing I do like about it, and we've talked about, in this video, even, it's a lot of versatility. Right, we're talking about guys that can play safety, can play inside. I think Zion McCollum in a pinch could slide inside for a minute.
He has before. Sorry, safety. I was talking about safety.
I think. I mean, he can do that too. Like, I don't think they want him to, but like he can. I do like the versatility of it. They're taking a big swing with Zion McCollum though, and I like McCollum. I like the draft pick. I was a McCollum fan. But it's a swing. It is a swing, and you are hoping that your development, right? Your development on McCollum is going to pay off. Because if it doesn't, and you got like a black hole over there, at cornerback 2, in today's NFL, man,
you will get picked apart.
Yeah, there's so many good receiving cores. There's so many good quarterbacks. We mentioned in the last video about the pass rush. The quarterbacks they're going to be playing this year. They're playing legit quarterbacks who just are going to know to target 27. Like, they're just going to know, and they're going to do it all day long. So the Bucs I think Zion McCollum is honestly one of the X factors for the Buccaneers for this entire season.
In today's NFL, like, it's just like you need 2 or 3 good wide receivers. You need 2 or 3 good cornerbacks to combat those wide receivers. Like, there's a reason that the Bucs kept Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis together for so freaking long. Mm-hmm. It's because they were good. They were good, and you keep. It's like having a good left tackle, man. Like, it's or like a good
I also
Whatever it may
think
be.
I think people don't. If Zion McCollum, and I hope he doesn't, right? Like, I'm not rooting for him to struggle, but if, let's say, Zion McCollum struggles this year, I think it's gonna make people appreciate Carlton Davis a little bit more.
Yeah,
Because like everybody talks about with Donovan Smith, right? When he was here playing left tackle, I was like, sure, could the Buccaneers do better? Sure. The Buccaneers could do a lot worse than Donovan Smith at left tackle. Could the Bucs do better than Carlton Davis? Maybe, but they could do a lot worse. And I think people sort of don't know what you got until it's gone. And hopefully Zion McCollum takes a step, right? Hopefully you won't miss Carlton Davis at all. But if that's not the case, I do feel like Bucs fans may be like, oh,
I agree. No, I agree, man. And, again, that's just the way it is in the modern NFL. You need to have a couple of good quality starting cornerbacks. I feel really good about McCollum, by the way. Like, I do.
I do too. I have a good feel. I have a good feeling about him.
Out of all the guys, which it's kind of the story of the Bucs defense, right? Like, they're banking on Logan Hall. They're banking on JTS and Yaya Diaby and some of those guys. They're banking on KJ Britt and Servasi Dennis. They're banking on Zion McCollum. You want to be like, I feel the best about Zion McCollum out of all of those guys. Like, me, like either him or Yaya would be the two.
Yaya's up there, yeah.
Like, I don't throw Kalijah Kancey in there because, like, I just expect him to do good. He doesn't really feel like a question mark to me. If you were to throw him in there, then yeah, like Kalijah Kancey would be number one. But like Zion or Yaya, dude, like those are like some. I wouldn't say they're safe bets, but like
I actually think out of all them guys, Zion, Britt, and Yaya, and whoever else you want to name that they're taking chances on, I think McCollum has the highest ceiling.
I agree. I think McCollum is a guy where, like, again, very similar rise to Jamel Dean, where, like, if he's a top half cornerback in like 2 years, I'm not surprised, and like if he's getting some long-term deal in like 2 years, I'm not surprised, if he's their cornerback one in a couple of years. But
hopefully he is, but it's got to start this year,
Yeah, and it's a risk though. It's a risk you're still taking. At the end of the day, we don't know. Like with a lot of things with this defense, it's still a bit of a question mark. So we'll have to wait and see, man. But like, I am a little not surprised that people have their reservations about this group, but like,
to me, it's warranted. Like, it's not like it's not warranted.
Yes, but I would say that I feel better about this group than other positions. Just even on the Bucs defense, let alone
I feel better about the pass rush. I've made my thoughts on the pass rush pretty clear. So
yeah, like I feel better about the cornerback situation than the pass rush right now. It feels like more of a question mark to me. I feel better about than the defensive line. No, probably not, because you have two legit.
No, you got Vita. Vita takes up too much.
Yeah, but like I would say the pass rush is a bigger question mark right now, and I feel pretty solid about that.
Yeah. Do you guys have any question marks about the secondary, about the cornerback room in particular, about Zion McCollum, about Bryce Hall, about Tavier Thomas, about Christian Izien, Tyke Smith, all the guys?
Thunderberg.
Yeah, Tyreek Thunderberg. I mean, come on. I always want to say Tyreek Thunderbird. Like, that's what it's sort of,
The general. He's General Thunderberg to you, sir.
But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm always curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Do you think Jamel Dean can stay healthy for a full season? Odds are probably not. Odds are probably not, but you never know, right? Is Zion McCollum going to be the Buccaneers' X factor? Is he going to take that next step? I think it's a huge question mark for this season. It's a big factor for the success that this Buccaneers defense is going to have. I want to thank James one more time for joining me on this video today. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. The best in the world. People call me that, not you. But
you know what? That's fair. I can't argue with that.
The voice of the voiceless.
Right.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go Bucs.